Oh, hiya.
Hi, everybody. I'm laughing already because in the backstage, I was like trying to fix my crazy hair, and I was like, yeah, screw it. It is what it is. I was just laughing all by myself. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hot, stressed, and just about made it. But otherwise, everything's good. We're happy. We're here. Where are you?
Yay.
Where is here this week?
Here is in Salta, Argentina, and I'm calling in from a co-work space that's actually really cool, filled with Argentinian people that don't work between about 1 to 5, and they come back and they work from 5 to 7. They work. It's just like, it's crazy. Yeah, but Salta, Argentina, if you guys are ever looking for a really cool place to go in Argentina, Salta is absolutely incredible. It's just beautiful, really. But anyway, that's enough.
It's beautiful.
But it's beautiful. Becca. Hi, Becca. Thanks for waking up to watch us. It's so nice. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful because there's just the landscape is just amazing and the people are amazing. It's wonderful. But anyway, welcome to Unsung Heroes, everybody. Thank you for joining in. Please tell us where you're calling from in the comments, and don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, slightly fondle, slightly whatever you want to do with the buttons.
Slightly touch, slightly press.
Yes. Slightly press. And we've got an awesome guest coming today. She does incredible work, and she works in a very mysterious natural history museum somewhere in the world, and it's going to be really interesting to talk to her. But first, Chris, shower thoughts. I feel like I haven't had them in so long, but it was only 2 weeks ago. So please, shower thoughts.
I'm going to first apologize for my lighting. There is only one light and it's there, and I can't get the table in a place where it's in my face. So I'm just trying to lean in and just be a dark wonder. So people treat stray animals nicer than they treat stray humans. Like, you see a little doggy on the street, like, oh, I'll give the little feed of doggy some food. I know you're not supposed to, but everyone does it. But then as soon as there's a homeless geezer sat outside of Tesco's going, any change, mate? You're like, ugh. I'm like, do you want a sandwich? I'll go in and get you a sandwich. And they're like, no, I don't want a sandwich. I just want money. Like, what do you want money for? He's like, well, beer and cigarettes. I'm like, well, you're making poor choices.
Not always. When I was an intern in Washington, D.C., I don't know what the story of this guy was, but at the exit, climbing up the stairs or the escalator, he was just at the exit of the metro in Washington, D.C., and right after the exit was this like Italian deli type of thing, and he looked so starving, and I didn't, like you, I don't want to give money, and so I went into the Italian deli and I got like this vegetable sandwich in case he didn't eat meat, and a chicken, like a grilled chicken on the side in case he did eat meat, and water and stuff like that. And I just came and I gave it to him, and he started tearing up, crying. And so every day when I would go back to work, I'd just give him his lunch for the day. And when it was my last day, I told him it's my last day, and he was like, "You're the nicest person I've ever seen." I'm like, "There are other people just like me. Just you'll find them." But it's true that we do treat our stray dogs better than we do our humans. That's kind of sad.
That's what I thought. It was kind of a little depressing moment when I walked past the
Yeah.
chap on my way into Tesco's, and I asked him if he wanted anything, and he said no, and he's spare change. I was like, I don't use cash anymore, so I never have change, so I'll buy you something. But he's like, no. I was like, okay, well, cool. If I could, like, if there's a cash point, I might consider lifting a tenner just to pass on. But yeah, wasn't there. Anyway, Cynthia, you're definitely wearing the same underwear as tons of strangers. Have you ever thought about that?
It's true.
It creeped me out a little bit.
It's not the same underwear,
But
though.
same brand, style, everything, except
Absolutely.
the exact same piece of material.
Yeah, but no one else has worn my underwear. Wait.
How do you know? How do you know that? Someone might have got in a.
This is why we wash our clothes once we buy them. This is why. Yes, we even though underwear are not supposed to be washed warm all the time. Yeah, I do wash it the first time in 95 degrees Celsius, and I'm like taking all of the cooties off of the because it's like the same with bathing suits. You don't know whether people actually did take off their underwear before trying on the fucking bathing suit. Isn't that just disgusting? Can you imagine? They have that little plastic strip in the middle, and you're like, okay, so that does protect, but what if, ew, gross. Imagine this is going to be gross. Okay, Cynthia's going off on a tangent. Cynthia's taking your shower thought. And I have thought about this. And, so Kelly is saying that you guys don't have the plastic thing in your, you don't? But, what about our assholes? I'm sorry, but Jesus, that's so gross. Can you imagine?
I might be speaking for myself, but I don't try on clothes. I go, that's my size, that'll do.
Yeah, okay. That's so gross.
If you do have to wear something or try something on, you don't take your pants off to try and wear something else. Okay,
hey, everybody, hello. I know, but okay, so you and I have principles. Oh my God. You and I have principles that we do not take our pants, which means underwear for Americans, off when we try our clothes. But I am sure that there are people, just like people don't wash their fucking hands when they leave the toilet.
We've discussed that before.
So I'm sure that there are people that try on their pants / underwear without their that's so disgusting. It's like so gross. And bathing suits are the same. So I wash these things when I get home, and I'm like 95 degrees, yes, taking all of the cooties off. But as I was saying about men, you don't have that plastic thing. What on earth is going on here? I don't know. Cynthia's on a tangent. So it's always chaotic, exactly. Cynthia's on a tangent, talking about cleanliness when we're trying on underwears and pants. I don't try on my underwears in this store, though. But I'm sure that there are some people that do. And that take off their own underwear to try on the new underwear, which is absolutely disgusting. Ugh. This is so gross. Let's bring Latoya on.
We did warn her that this was going to be chaos. Hi, Latoya.
Latoya, you're on mic. Your mic.
I'm just trying to contain myself, like my facial expression this entire time.
So I'm sorry. So let me introduce who you are. Latoya Flowers. Welcome to the show. This is a crazy show. You know a little bit about us. You've seen a couple of shows before, but so welcome. But tell us first. Do you try underwear in stores?
No,
Do you try bathing suits?
no. So I tried on bathing suits at home. Like I'll buy it and then try it on at home. But as far as underwear, like no, definitely don't try on the bottoms in store. But I have tried on bras in stores, So, but
But I mean, when you try on the bathing suit at home, you keep on that plastic strip, and you keep your underwear on.
yeah, right. You don't take
The
all your
plastic
clothes
strip
off.
is blowing my mind. And I'm with Declan as well, who tries on underwear at a store. That is mental.
Well, okay, so let's forget underwear, just bathing suits.
Right. Okay.
Not the big boxer short ones, but like the Speedo bathing suits or the boxer bathing suits, the tight boxer bathing suits, right?
I wouldn't dream of wearing them. No one needs to see my junk in public.
No, you don't like Speedo.
Yeah, imagine you have to you I don't know, you're going to swim and you need like a tight fitting bathing suit and trunks.
Don't go swimming.
No. So okay, all right. So all of the guys are freaking out at this plastic strip that we have. So if you look at our bathing suits, we have this like plastic, I don't know, what is it, like a protective seal, like a sanitary seal, which is just totally fucking ridiculous. Because, I mean, anyway.
Yeah, it's to protect the moist.
Do you keep your socks on in a changing room? If you go in a dressing room to try something on, do you keep your socks on?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
But then some people don't wear will not wearing any socks, and then they'll go try something on, and that requires them taking their shoes off. And I'm like, those floors. Think of all of the fluids that have been on those floors.
Fuck me. God damn it.
I keep my shoes on.
It's so gross. So gross.
You can take your clothes off.
I don't even want my socks touching the floor, so I do this weird, like, if I have to try a suit on or something, I do this weird like flamingo dance, trying to get my feet back on my own shoes whilst I'm putting trousers on because I want to touch the floor.
Yeah, or you
It's
like
going to be
balance
rancid.
on your shoes.
Oh my God. Okay, so Kelly has found an image of the plastic that is in our bathing suits. That's it.
Right.
That's it. It's exactly it.
Mm-hmm.
It's the hygienic liner. And Latoya, you can go on and explain because I heard you starting to explain that.
Yeah, it's to protect the moistness from your body getting on that fabric, which is gross. That's why they say keep your underwear on, because it's nasty.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I like men.
This is how Terminator started. Oh my God.
Well, be glad you're not. You don't have to go through that because
I sympathize. I don't understand, but I sympathize.
Oh my goodness. So yes, we did go on a tangent there, but yeah, this is Chris's shower thoughts. We love them. But shall we get to the reason?
My shower thought. I wasn't thinking about the hygienic plastic strip that I didn't know about in women's underwear until you've bought them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're talking about underwear and other people wearing them, and so obviously, I went there because I go there. But anyway, all right, Latoya, you are our unsung hero for the week. I'm so excited to get to know you better and to give you the deserved spot in the limelight. So tell us, who are you?
I am a multimedia creative from Chicago, born and raised, and I'm also a documentary filmmaker.
Wow. How long have you been working in the industry?
I've been working in the museum industry for about 7 to 8 years now. It'll be 8 years this year. But yeah, it's been a really like incredible experience for me because it's something I've always wanted to do since I was in high school, work in museums. So yeah, I'm here, and it's been a really great journey.
Wow, that's cool. And you're based out of Chicago, is that right?
hmm Yep, I live in Chicago. Like I said, I was born and raised there. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
How did you start? Like how when coming so in high school you wanted to work in museums. How did you do that? Like how did you get to where you are today?
So it was for me. It wasn't like a straight shot, a straight answer of how to get into working in museums. It's something that I've always wanted to do, but I didn't know how to get there. So I went to film school for undergrad and really learned the art of filmmaking. And then I went to graduate school at the School of Visual Arts in New York for social documentary. And then from there, I moved back to Chicago, and then I started working at a planetarium in Chicago. And that's where I got my start, working at a science museum where we talk about planets. And I was there for 4 years, and I worked on a lot of exhibits, met a lot of astronauts while I was there, did a lot of filming, short films, installations. And then after a while, I started feeling like I was outgrowing that position because I was a media producer when I was in that role there. And then I moved on to a natural history museum where I'm a senior multimedia creative, where I create a lot of really cool exhibits for the museum that's traveling and permanent. And I've been there for about 5 years now.
Wow. One of my dreams, like one of my bucket list things that I would love to be able to do is to meet Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love that show Cosmos when it came out. Yeah.
I love his voice. I love his voice. I love his humor. Oh, he's like one of the science guys, one of the most fun science guys that I've ever heard. Ever had.
And we just have Brian Cox, whose voice makes me want to, like, I don't know, bite chalk or something.
Pretty extreme to bite chalk.
It's not. I would love to be able to be an impressionist and be able to imitate him, but I just can't. But then I'll ignore him and just go back to my nature programs with David Attenborough because I don't care what anyone says, he has the best voice on the planet.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I love
totally
all the films. I watch them all, so I agree with that.
I thought, doesn't Oprah do a load of the voiceovers for the stuff that for the sort of the BBC stuff that in the States, so it's like a recognizable voice.
Yeah, she has in the past,
Right.
but not as much as him. Like he's more recognizable, I would say.
Oh yeah,
US.
That makes me happy.
He is the voice.
Mm-hmm. Him or Morgan Freeman. But it's like Morgan Freeman could be the very good voice of nature movies.
I signed a government petition about a petition to the government in the UK to have when COVID struck and everyone get into lockdown. I was like, can we just have like a 10-mile cordon around David Attenborough so that he's protected and will survive? And there was someone that actually made a petition that had to be discussed in our parliament because it got so many signatures of like, we should protect David Attenborough.
How old is he? Is he like in his
93?
Yeah,
he's
like
old.
still traveling and doing shows. It's crazy.
Still shooting himself up to the North Pole or whatever he fancies.
That's incredible. All right, look, I'm really curious. I'm always really curious about people who already in high school have an idea of like a dream job. And so my question to you is, what is it about museums that made you want to work in them later on after high school?
Well, I mean, for me, like my dad and my mom will always take me to museums, and plus you had to go like on field trips and stuff. So I was always like into museums very young. We have some of like the best museums here in Chicago, so, and all different kind of types of museums you can experience. So when I was always there, I was always looking at the exhibits and just curious, like who's making this stuff? Like who's doing the research? How does these exhibits come to be? Like who's behind the scenes? Because you don't know when you're there. You're just seeing what's done in front of you. And so I used to watch like the installation videos. Back then they used to put like the credits in the videos that you could see who worked on it. And I would just stand there and like watch it and read all the names to kind of get an idea of like how many people worked on it. Do I recognize some of the names? Can I memorize some of the names and look them up later, And yeah, and that was my start. That was the very start for me of getting into it, and just knowing that that's something I wanted to do. And yeah, that's like my origin story is like, yep, started in high school, started going to museums, just loving it, but not knowing anybody that worked at museums. Like at that time, I didn't know anybody. And I didn't know people that did that kind of work. So that's why it took me a while to like find my path in it, because I didn't have really anyone to look up to, to ask those kind of questions. Like, how do you get in this kind of industry?
Yeah. I don't know if you can, if my internet is working, because you're chopping up. I don't know if it's you or if it's me, but I suppose it's me. It is me. Okay. So apparently you gave us a bunch of pictures to look through and some nice little material to talk about. Can you pull up some of the pictures? And Latoya, can you tell us what we're looking at?
Yeah, so this is a behind the scenes shot of me and one of the other media producers that work at the museum that I work at. And we are photographing different objects for the new Native American Hall exhibit that we're creating right now. It's going to open this May. It's a permanent hall. This project is like so important and to us all because the current exhibit has been around for I think about many years. I can't even count the numbers. It's been there for a very long time. And that exhibit was really like offensive to the Native community, like because of how their objects were displayed, how their objects came to be into the museum. And so we worked with the Native community, a lot of tribes in Chicago and in Illinois to change it and to have them be the voice of this exhibit and to, tell their stories in their own words and not us doing it for them necessarily, but like really collaborating with them hand in hand. And so, yeah, it's opening in May. And this was from a shoot that I was directing with some of the Native community from the Pawnee community. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. I feel like this has been an exhibit in the making for a long time. We've been working on this for about 3 or 4 years. So to finally see it come to light, and to see like the floor being put in and the walls are being put up is really exciting because in the very early stages, you're like, are we going to make it? Are we going to get there? We have about, I think, 80 collaborators on this project. So it's a very, very big team, a lot of advisors. So we want to make sure we get it right. We want to make sure that all of the Native community is happy with it, who's involved in this project, that they're happy and that they feel like their tribes is represented well. And so, yeah, this is, some photos from that. And I'm really excited about it. I'm really, really hoping that when it opens that everyone really takes it all in and really learn something from this exhibit because it's really personal. There's a lot of personal stories in this show.
It's the beauty of how museums are evolving, though, whereas it always was an object with some an expert that might not necessarily be an actual expert on the matter or have any idea about it, and they write a little blurb and it's like, here's a thing and this is about it. And now we're doing so much content like this is all filmed and digital, and it's so easy to then archive and look back on, and it builds, well, human history as much as it builds each individual group or culture or whatever. We can put it all together, and it just makes museums so much cooler to be part of. We do a lot of the audiovisual installs in loads of museums across Europe and Middle East, and occasionally in the United States. And it's like, for some of our team, it's the best part of it, because there's so much information involved. I mean, it's awesome building a new visitor attraction as in like a ride or something, because it's new and it's wacky and it's crazy, but you don't learn anything. That's just a bit of fun. And then going and sort of building things, and you're like, I don't really understand, and then you get the content delivered to you on a little like flash drive, and it goes, and on it goes like, this is cool. I'm just going to sit here and watch all of this for a bit. I'm just testing it, everyone. I'm just testing it.
Right.
Yeah.
One of our like huge challenges was during the first lockdown here in the US, which was last year. We were like in a really strong push of trying to get all our content created, like all of the media stuff created, but we couldn't travel, and we couldn't like meet in person. Like everybody had to like stay quarantined. And so we had to come up with ways of how do we create the media in a virtual way. And so my team, we were like, okay, at this point, we just got to share GoPro cameras with everybody and have them film their own stories. Like that's just where we are at that point. We couldn't travel across the country to meet these storytellers. So yeah, that was really interesting, is like giving cameras to storytellers of all ages. Like some were like very older, and some were very young. And so teaching everyone that learning curve of like how to do things in a technical way, and like how to do it virtually. And it's amazing like what we got back, like some of the storytellers like filming themselves creating pottery. One of our subjects in the film, he's like, I would say probably like in his 70s or close to his 80s. He's much older, but yeah, he filmed himself. He had his wife help him, and he just made like these like pottery vases, which are so cool. And he was having fun doing it. And so that makes this project even more special, is knowing that, I didn't have to like go across the country and just film people and record their stories. I was able to put a camera in someone else's hand, and have them document their stories. And we, of course, help edit it. But yeah, they were more part of the process than we expected.
So we have some more museum photos. Shall we go through those?
Yeah, definitely.
It's coming.
Yeah, this was a really cool exhibit. This is from our Upsalica Women and Warriors exhibit that happened in 2019. So this opened right before, like a few days before lockdown. But this also was another exhibit that was, took a while to create. We collaborated with the Upsalica tribe to create this really beautiful exhibit that focuses on women and warriors in their tribe. It focuses on family and beauty and fashion and all kind of elements. I really enjoy working on this project because I actually got a chance to spend time with them at Crow Fair. It happened like early 2019. And that was my first time visiting a powwow and like experiencing it for the first time. But I would say if you ever get a chance to go to one, it will change your life. Like just experiencing their culture. It was amazing. And so, yeah, I created this video in this installation where it focuses more on a fashion designer. Her name is Bethany Yellowtail. So these are like the dresses she creates. But she wanted to show women being really beautiful and feeling powerful in her clothing. And so they hired a fashion photographer to shoot this photo shoot. And then I did like the editing for it. So this was really fun to work on. And this is one of my latest projects that I worked on. This is for our Wild Color exhibition. And this is what's cool about this exhibit is that the exhibit is broken up into different colors. So you have like your red room, your orange room, yellow, green, blue, purple. And it has like these like different, each room has like a different vibe and a different theme for it. So like yellow is like very nature-like, and we wanted to like show a lot of different butterfly species in that space. We wanted to create a media piece that would allow people to have a lot of different photo opportunities. So we worked with an illustrator to create these illustrated butterflies, and we project them, and we created a painted mural around it. In that blue projection, that was done with projection mapping and also like stock footage of all living things that are blue. And so this area is like very soothing and calming when you come into it. This is right after the yellow room. Another thing that's cool about this exhibit is the sound. Every room has a sound dedicated to that color. So yellow is like you're hearing the cicadas and, insects. And then in this room, you hear like underwater sounds of like a whale, something very soothing. So I had a lot of fun working on this because I had a lot of creative direction in the creation of this exhibit and creating different media pieces that are different on scale and on mood and tone. And this was fun. And it's on display now. So if you ever come to the US, you can definitely see it now into the end of next year.
I don't know. So go ahead, Chris.
Okay. How much direction do you get? Do you get like build me an exhibition worthy of Mordor, or is it like is there a specific thing like that you're told to do? I'm intrigued as to how like it comes to your desk and then what you have to do with it from there. Whether that's like, here is this space in the museum, build something wicked, or whether it's build something wicked involving XYZ, or whether it's I would like a colors exhibit and I would like you to do this, and then you get the inside of that sort of banner, you get the creative direction. So what's your scope, I guess?
Yeah. So for me, since my title is Senior Multimedia Creative, that entails that I get to work with all different kind of people to help create an exhibit. So for example, with the Wild Color exhibit, I was brought on once we knew that we wanted to create an exhibit about color and nature. But at that time, the space was completely empty. There was nothing there. There was no ideas, no concepts. It was just myself, a 3D designer, a graphic designer, and our design director. And so we all came together and was like, okay, we thought more about the experience for this exhibit, not so much having to focus on the different artifacts or the different elements that's going to be in it. We wanted to have this very experience heavy. And so, yeah, we just brainstormed like all together, like if we were to break this exhibit into different colors, what each room would feel like. And so since I'm coming in very early, we started with the red room and we were like, okay, what's going to be in it? And I'm like, well, I don't really see a media piece in that room. I can say that. Like, I don't really think a media piece should be in that room, but I can hear sound when I see the color red, or I hear sound when I see the color orange. So that's kind of where I came in, is looking at every room and deciding and coming up with ideas of what we can do specifically for that room. And then working with a 3D designer and a graphic designer to then, for there, come up with the structure of like, okay, if we do a media piece, how would it be displayed? And what kind of media piece? Is it projection mapping? Is it video? Is it both? Is it, what is it? And so that's where we work together and we pull resources from Pinterest and like we start sketching together and we really come together and come up with that idea. For the blue projection, I would say for that, I worked with a 3D designer. She designed the half circle structure. And then our graphic designer, he designed the like liquid textured mural behind you that you can see.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there, I was like, okay, that's really cool. Now, what are we going to like do with it? So from there, that's when I was like, okay, we can do projection mapping on the liquid pattern, and we can do some kind of video on the half circle. So I take it from the design and then start mocking up different ideas of what the media can look like and start showing animatics and rough cuts. So it's a little bit of a process, like sometimes I work hand in hand with the designer. Sometimes the designer designs something and we kind of just go back and forth of like, what can you do with this kind of structure that I created? Yeah, it never is consistent on any exhibit. It's always different. I would say for the soundscapes, I had a major hand in helping to decide what the sounds are. I came in very early on that. So we knew we had our floor plan and we were like, okay, we have all of these rooms. Do we have just one soundscape that covers the entire exhibit? And I was like, well, let's try something different. Let's do a sound for every single room. And so from there, I worked with our AV team to then figure out, where does the speakers go? How many speakers do we need? How will it cover the entire space? And then I worked with a composer to then come up with those different sounds for each space, So yeah, I have a hand in like all of the processes, but it's really never the same on any exhibit. It varies.
That color exhibit just makes me think of chromesthesia. Do you know what that is? Mm-mm. It's like putting sound into color. People can actually listen to a sound and associate a color to it, or listen to or see a color and hear a sound. Chromesthesia. It's a really, really fascinating. So I don't know. It's involuntary. It's not something that you can develop. It's something that people have or don't. And I think it's super interesting. And your exhibit just makes me think of that. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just one last note is, and that's how we came up with the media concepts for that exhibit. Because for me, when we were in the early stages of the plan, I was like, I don't see like a media piece in every single room. Like it doesn't have to be this, like every single room has to have a video. Every room could feel different because of that color, so red could be, you can hear really dark, deep, kind of like heavy tones. And then orange is like electrifying, it's like very, very, like energetic. And so that's what we played off of, is using multimedia for this exhibit and not just focusing on a projected video or something playing on a monitor, but how do we utilize lighting, audio, everything, to create a really well-rounded experience.
Yeah. Chris?
Yo.
I just like dropped the message like super quick in the chat, but
you pain. So Latoya, you were talking about the process that you have to go through when you're doing, like, in answer to my previous question. So what are some of the challenges that you've had to deal with when going through that differing process each time, other than the fact that the process is different each time?
Yeah, I think budgeting is like, for me, a huge challenge. Like when you don't have the money to do these really cool things, then you're kind of like, okay, like how do I still make this cool and effective for our visitors and something that they can get out of it, but I don't have the money to do the projection mapping, or I don't have the money to do something on a large scale. To me, that's always is a challenge, and it's a challenge we're going through right now. Like sometimes we think we're going to have a certain amount of money and we plan out these really huge, big ideas, and then we find out we don't. And then we got to start scaling it down to until it's like bare knuckles. It's like nothing, and then none of us are like happy with it at that point, because we're like, oh, this sucks. It's not that great, and now we got to live with it. So That's always.
This is what we. It's the same. It's the same thing. We're usually the people that everyone doesn't like the AB teachers. So because you go, we've got this fantastic idea, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be that, and it's going to be so cool. And we're like, okay, what's the budget? £5.50. Okay, what you just described was £500,000, like, or dollars, whatever. And it's like, okay, how do we, as Kelly's just said, how do we value engineer this to engineer it as best we can, keeping the value to visitors as best we can without spending any money?
Yeah, like projectors are like so expensive. So I'm mapping out an experience that needs 3, and I come to find out I can only use 1. And it's like, well, that changes everything, like it's not as cool because now I'm down to this 1 projector or no projector at all. Like, no, now it's down to a monitor, so that's always hard, is having to reset and re-strategize around our budgets fluctuating all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure that's one of the hardest things. What is the hardest lesson that you've learned?
For me, it's trusting my instinct. I would say in my very early years of my career, I didn't. Like, I was always like waiting for validation from someone else to say this looks good or this is a good idea. And it would not happen, like it could have been a good idea and that person thought it was a good idea, but they just didn't verbally say it. And so then I'm like second guessing myself and it really crushed my self-esteem over time. Like I had like the worst self-esteem, but after a while and after coming into the position I'm in now, I was like, okay, I have to pull myself out of that. Like if I think it's a good idea, then it's a good idea. Like, go with your gut. So it took me a long time to like really grasp that and to be comfortable with that, and to know that not everybody is going to compliment your work. Not everybody's going to say good things about it, even though they may feel it on the inside. They may not tell you verbally, and that's okay. Like, but don't wait on that. As long as you feel good about it and you see that visitors are enjoying it and getting something out of it, then you did good work, so.
Yeah. I like that. That's trust yourself. I think that we always have. I think that's one of the things that we always, as creators, have an issue with is just saying, I'm good. And
I think that's
when
the
I think
difference between creatives and what we say thinkers and doers, but we mean it physically. Like we're out bashing stuff with hammers, and creative people tend to be more drawing oriented and letting their creative juices flow. But that's a difference because engineers are very, very quick, and I know I'm very, very quick to like, I'm right, you're wrong, there's nothing you can do about it. And
yeah, because it's mathematical. It's like you're thinking
and it's completely
in binary.
Creative people work in all colors of the rainbow, and then in engineering, it's either black or white, it's a 1 or a 0. It is binary.
Yeah.
So we don't have that problem, and it's fascinating when people start talking about it. It's like, I just wish I trust myself a little bit more. I'm like, if I didn't, I'd still be stuck in a desert fixing the last job that I did.
So I had to take some of that analytical thought and be like, especially when it comes to strategies and like, okay, how are we going to get to point A and B? That's all strategy, so trust it. Like if I'm like, this is how we're going to do it and this is how we're going to get there. If I know that it's true and it's going to happen and I feel good that this is a good plan and it's going to happen, but if I'm like second guessing myself and I can't make a decision, then we all going to be all over the place. The project's going to probably fall apart because I'm not trusting myself, and I'm not being strategic. So yeah, I've gotten a lot better at it. The more I've been given more responsibility, I've been, not, wasting time on making a decision. Like, yeah, I'm like, yep, this is what we got to do. Nope, that's not a good idea. Like, yeah. So
you can always delegate the decision, and then if it doesn't work, you should have thought of that.
Yeah, I do that too. Like, you should have listened.
Don't we all do that? I should have thought of that. So beyond your work with the museum, you do some documentary work. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, so I started producing and directing a documentary about a year ago called Still Searching, and it's about missing Black women and girls from Chicago. The film follows an artist. His name is Damon Lamar Reed. He's a hip hop artist and muralist, and he creates these portraits of missing girls from Chicago. Some have been missing for like more than 20 years. Some of these cases are like recent, as of like last month or last year. So far, he's created about 20 paintings, but this is an ongoing project for him. It's not something that's coming to an end like once the documentary is done. This is like his life work, part of his life work now. And so, yeah, I've been following him and creating this film. And our goal is to like bring more attention to these cases. That's a huge issue in the U.S. is the fact of knowing that a lot of people of color, especially Black women, their cases get kind of ignored in the media, when they are missing, or the police department may just rule it out as a runaway or it's something that she did, and they don't really take the time to like figure out what happened, or help these families bring closure and help find their loved ones. A lot of families have to like become their own detectives and do the work in finding their loved ones, which is like really messed up in the US. And so we want to just bring more attention to these cases. A lot of these cases are still active and open. Some are closed, because they're still missing, and the families don't know. Some get leads and some of those leads fall through, and it's just an ongoing thing. So that's what this film is about.
The paintings are beautiful. Are these all murals?
Yeah, these are
like
all
outside.
some of these they're just large scale, but he does do outdoor murals. The goal is to do a few more outdoor murals for this kind of work. He's done like only one so far. But yeah, that's to get a sense of the size. They're pretty large. And yeah, that's his plan, is to display them outside, display them in the neighborhoods where these women and girls where they came from, where they went missing, so that people can continue talking about it.
Wow,
Yep.
That's incredible.
I'm just quiet for the moment because I'm a little bit lost for words. I'm angry that it's necessary, but it's fantastic that you both have decided to do something about it in each of your mediums.
Yeah,
so bravo, but it's 2021. It's so disappointing.
It is. It really is. That it's like, it's sad that it's like one of those projects that is ongoing, like, because there's so many missing women and girls. That's like the sad part about it. But I would say the good out of this is that creating these paintings is helping these families have some kind of way to cope through the loss of their loved ones, either loss of them passing away or loss of them not being around. This kind of helps. It's kind of like art therapy for them. And so that's what we want to provide, is like some kind of like support for these families. These paintings are helping them know that, hey, there's other people out here thinking about your loved one. You're not alone. Even though the media isn't talking about that case anymore, we're still out here talking about it. We want people in the neighborhood to still be talking about it when they drive past and they see that painting. So yeah, it's sad. It's a sad story, but we try to add the good to it as well. And that's what this film is about. This film isn't all doom and gloom. It's supposed to be uplifting for these families. We also want to ask questions too, like, why isn't these stories covered that well in the media? And what is the police department doing about it? And what is the city of Chicago doing about it? Not pointing the finger, but asking questions like, hey, this is still a huge attention in our city, and it's needed. We need to keep talking about it. We need to keep coming up with strategies on what to do, because these families are like hopeless at this point. If they don't get help from the city, is nothing will happen and their loved one will continue to be missing, So, yeah.
I have to ask this. I know it's going to depress me, but the scale, like how many missing people? You said in the last 20 years, some of those cases go back. Do we know how many cases there are?
I mean, to be honest, it has to be in the hundreds, by now. But in Chicago, I think there is like about maybe over 50 cases that are like unsolved, That now I'm pretty sure that number has grew up if you count up into now. But yeah, for me the number is unknown. Like I don't have a definite number, but I know it's pretty high, and that's what's sad about it. So
tens of thousands. I'm just looking. I just Googled because I find it fascinating and nerve-wracking and unacceptable, and I can't say enough words. And so I just Googled how many women of color go missing in the U.S. And there's an NPR article that talks about Our Black Girls, a website that tells stories. And it says tens of thousands of Black girls and women go missing every year.
Mm-hmm. And that's just in the U.S.,
And that's just in the U.S. And that's just in the U.S. I just, when you were presenting the documentary and you said, this is his life work, and I thought my immediate thought was, well, until there's no more missing women. And I was like, oh, Cynthia, shut up. This is just, no. There will always be, unfortunately, always be missing women. And so it's infuriating and heartbreaking. Thank you, Kelly, for that. Yeah.
But then at the same time, like you said, Latoya, it's like I didn't. Did you say his name? The artist that you're working with? I didn't catch it.
His name is Damon. Mm-hmm.
What a legend! And what he is at, like you said, it's giving some positivity to families that not really getting a lot from other people. So I mean that, and he's always seems to be using very bright colors as well, and giving some, although it's a terrible situation, there's still some element of positivity running through it, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and like you said, the paintings, they're so beautiful, and it captures their likeness, which is like amazing. A lot of these paintings are based off selfies that the girls have taken of themselves, or photos. And so when you see the original photo and then you see the painting, you're like, wow, like it looks just like them, like a splendid image. Is just the colors. He uses these very vivid colors, which is like amazing, and it grabs your attention, So yeah, I love his work, and the families love his work. Whenever he's done with the painting, he gives it to the family. He asks their permission before he creates a painting, so they're aware of the process. They're in on the process. One of the outdoor murals that he had created, the mom, she was there, the dad was there, and they were there the entire time the mural was being created. So, and the mom said afterwards, like, whenever I'm feeling down, like, I will always come back to this mural. I'll always sit and look at this mural when I'm thinking of her. And that's the point of it. That's what we want to, that's the outcome we want to have. That's not the only outcome, but that's part of it,
Wow, totally. I find it so amazing and uplifting and inspiring how art can help people grieve and help people accept the unacceptable, and how I don't know, celebrating someone that is taken from us, how that celebration can be part of the healing process, like integral part of healing. And I am so happy that there's art in this world. I mean, what a shithole we would be in if we didn't have art, you know? I mean, oh goodness.
Yeah, and that's one thing I want to explore in the film is how art does that for these families. Like, how does these families feel once they receive that painting, and how do they interact with it over time? You know, like, because it does. It brings some kind of healing and some little bit of closure, you know, to them. But yeah, that's something we want to touch on in this documentary, because it's beautiful, you know, and it's uplifting and it's inspirational, and that's like the key themes of this film and of the project as a whole, you know, is to be an inspiration and be a healing for these people.
Do you know, have you heard of Shane Grammer?
No.
He's a mural artist, he's a painter. And do you remember the Paradise Fire in California?
Yeah.
Where, Shane Grammer, he went into Paradise after the fire I think the rubble was still flaming. And he had friends that lived in Paradise, and he went to Paradise, and on a stone chimney that was left over from the fire, he just painted something, and it became this whole project of his. You can Google him, the Paradise Fire murals. There are a bunch of them, and I have chills. I mean, I've had chills with your story too. I've had chills for the last 10 minutes, my goodness. And it's just that thing, that place that was that was hell on earth is now this so beautiful with these murals and the homage to the people that live there and to the love. It's just, thank God we have art.
Yes, thank God.
So we have there's something that you talked about in the pre-show, and it's Damon Lamar Reed. And we can give him a shout out. I will say Damon Lamar Reed. Oh, that's his name, the artist.
Yep.
All right. Wonderful. I didn't read that. Damon Lamar Reed. Thank you. Thank you for giving me chills for 10 minutes. And thank you too, Latoya. Let's see. I don't know if we have any other pictures from the projects that you've had. I hear that your bell is ringing or something is ringing. So
My annoying front door. Whenever you walk in and out, it's like front door open. So sorry.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. This is what makes being live so much fun. Believe me.
And also my cuckoo clock too. So you start hearing birds. That's what it is.
Oh, birds! Birds!
Yeah, they're pretty loud.
We love animals on this show. We are an animal-loving show, as we talked about before. So let's see if you could. If you could say something to your younger self, what would it be?
Don't be so hard on yourself. I was really hard on myself, like in my early years of my career, because like I said, I had terrible self-esteem issues when it came to like acknowledging my work and like appreciating the work that I do. Like I always like, oh, this sucks, because no one was telling me that it looked good, So I was like, well, it don't look good, then it must be something wrong with it, or I must really be bad at this. And if I know what I know now, I would tell myself, don't beat yourself up like that. Like being an artist is a process, like it takes time to like get a swing of it and know your style and to get really good at it. Like you're not going to be good. Not everybody is good coming out the gate. Some people have to work at it and some people do. They're like geniuses, and that's good too. But yeah, don't count yourself out just because you need to practice, and yeah, I would say if I could tell myself that when I was in my like undergrad, it would have been a lot easier for me as I progressed through the years. Because in undergrad, it was brutal, like being in such a competitive program. Everybody's trying to be a filmmaker. And so some people are really good at it. Some people needed more work than others. I was like the kind of in between. But yeah, I was always like comparing myself to my classmates and to my friends. And I was looking at their progression and was like, oh, I wish I was as good as them, and I was really beating myself up in the process and it wasn't good, So if I know what I know now, again, it would be trust your instincts and stop being so hard on yourself. Just practice, put the work in, and let time allow yourself to get really good,
It's just yesterday I had a friend that was saying how frustrating it is to feel so much like incompetence, that nothing is going right, that you're not doing anything right, that you don't have the time to do anything, and everyone is just like needing you. And I told her what my therapist told me years ago, and that has, oh my God, just liberated me. And it's aim for a 2.75 GPA, Cynthia, in life. Just looking for a 2.75.
What does that mean?
It's like slightly above average, but like really barely above average.
Mm-hmm.
A C.
It's like a C plus.
Yeah. Yep.
It's C plus.
Yep.
And it's just, a 2.75 in my work life, a 2.75 with my love life, a 2.75 in, with my friends and family and just everything. And it takes off so much of the pressure that in the end, I'm averaging more. Mm-hmm. But if I just say, I can, I'm aiming for that. That is my average. And sometimes I'm going to get an F. I know it. Sometimes, more often than I like, I get Fs.
I wish I could do that.
Okay.
And I'm like,
you can.
If it was set up, and my again, I've had the same sort of conversation with my therapist over many different times, and he goes, your school has set you up to have problems because they were like, oh, you're an intelligent kid. You should be getting A stars, which is our top grade. You should be in the 95th percentile. You can smash everything. And so they're like, do all of the academic stuff in. Sarah, you're going to have to help out with the translation, like GCSEs. Where does that translate to in American?
That's it's like it's GCSEs is the high school diploma, no?
Like 15, 16 years old.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we call college.
Oh. Okay.
And then you go. So there's like school, and then there's the end of school. That's GCSEs, and then you do your A levels at college when you're 17 and 18, and then you go to university beyond that.
Oh wow!
So yeah. A levels are like SATs.
Oh, it's so confusing. It's so confusing.
I know, it's horrible.
Anyway, all of my teachers are, yeah, Chris is going to get A's and A stars. He's going to get clean sweep. They're like, do all the academic subjects, you'll smash all of it. And I just did not have time for the coursework and the learning that needed to be in all of those lessons. So I was taking 14 classes and expected to get 14 A's or A stars, and I got 14 C's or B's if I was lucky. And then went to college, and they were like, "No, you can't do it. You're in all the remedial classes because you didn't pass. You didn't do well enough in all of your classes to say that you excel in this area. So you can't do the subjects you want with the teachers that you want." And then that changed my whole life plan. I wanted to go and do aerodynamics for Formula One cars. That's where I wanted to work, and I know my mathematical brain could do that. So I pivoted, and then my dad said to me, "I'll give you a job, but you have to pass this course, and I want you to do this course and pass it." And then the school were going, this is my college, going, "Chris, you can get the best again. You can do the best again." And I went, no. He told me I had to pass it to get a job.
Right.
So no, I'm doing the bare minimum to pass. And I was such a, like, you can imagine this, Cynthia, gobby, arrogant little shit. I really was. And I was they're like, "Oh, we're going to do 3 months of teaching you how to solder." And I was like, or you say solder or something in the States. SOLDER. It's called soldering, and it's solder, but it's like
Solder. Well, I don't know. I'd say solder, but
yeah. But I don't need to be taught 3 months of that. I built an amplifier when I was 10. Like, I built a guitar for my GCSEs for fun. Like, I don't need to be taught how to do this. I'll just pass. Thanks very much. What's the final? There you go. Does that pass? Yes. I'll see you in 3 months. Bye.
That's a lot of pressure, you know.
And then
like,
I've gone to work now, and it's exactly the same. Everything's got to be perfect. Every little detail has to be perfect. They're like, we can't have. I mean, we have a standard in our company for, you know, like cable ties, and we use Velcro cable ties because they're reusable and much better for the environment than the nylon ones, and they have to be exactly 300 millimeters apart. That's a foot. Is it a foot? 12 inches?
300 millimeters?
Yes, 12 inches.
oh wow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a foot. Yeah, it's like a school ruler, a foot ruler, and it's like everything has to be perfect. And I walk around the sites, and the guys are all better at it than I am.
It has to
I'm
be
like,
that
that'll do.
precise all the time.
Yeah, because it makes things easier to follow, neater, and then I mean, because what I mean, your AV team must have external contractors coming in, and then they'll be screaming down the phone at us 2 days later if we're off site and they can't follow a cable or trace something. So we've got to make it neat, easy, and it's like, yes, I can walk in and understand the organized chaos, but that's how my brain works. So I have to try my best to be good and make everything perfect to make the teams that are looking after these exhibits and installations for the next 5, 7, 10 years, make it easy for them. So yeah, we have to always seem to have to be perfect. So I don't get to go over C, Cynthia.
Well, I mean, I'm not imperfect in my like translations, in my delivery of the things that I produce. How can I say that? Like, I'm not gonna get a C on a translation or a C on some research that I do for content in a museum. That you know, I'm not. That is a search for perfection, definitely. But I don't know. Like, okay, so today, just an example. I had this new client call my project manager for a translation project that they have, and it was a super complicated thing, and the client pretty much did something that would make her lose a bunch of money. And so my project manager responded and said, "Hey, you're going to save a lot more money if you do it this way, and I'm just giving you a heads up." And anyway, and so the client calls up my project manager and pretty much bitches at her and says, you guys, you're the suppliers. You're supposed to do the work that I tell you to do, and that's it. And I'm like, and she tells me this, and I say, I don't want to work too hard to have this client. So I'm going to write her and say that she can go see someone else, because I don't want to work hard to satisfy her, because she's already being a bitch. And so I did that. And of course, she's like, oh, I've never run into someone so unprofessional. You should be happy that I'm consulting you. And then I answered her and I said, I'm actually really happy with this choice that I'm making, because even though you don't see me as being perfect and doing the right thing, I think I'm doing the right thing. I just dropped it at that. And so that's where I'm saying that sometimes I will, out of laziness to not fight for a client, I'll just like, this is going to be too much work. And on top of it, if she disrespects my project manager, that's just like unacceptable shit. You don't do that to my project manager. But that's what I'm saying, is that I don't always make the right decisions professionally, I guess. But that's okay. It's like, 2.5 in my business. I'm 2.75. I'm okay with making wrong decisions.
Sound like you were protecting your mental health in that case. And that was the decision for you.
That is the right decision. Yes. Always protect your mental health. There is not one client in the world that is so important that they can justify touching on my mental health, or on that of my project manager, that for that matter. I mean, even more so my project manager than me, because I protect her like I'm a mama bear. Love you, Chloe.
Whereas we have, is it working yet? No. Well, then you're not leaving until it's working. Okay. Bang goes my weekend. Bang goes my night. Bang goes my plans.
Oh.
Never mind.
I get it. So
there's going to be time for a question there, Cynthia, surely.
Is there going to be time? Is there time for? Oh my God, we're already there. Holy kaboli, we're already at an hour and 10 minutes. My goodness. What are some of the things that excite you the most about starting a new project?
I think like researching like different concepts of what a media piece can be. Trying something new for the first time, like getting my hands on a new technology or a new concept that I haven't done before. That's really cool. Having the creative freedom, to do whatever it is that I come up with, that really excites me. I kind of like hesitant, or I'm a little bit hesitant working on projects where I don't have a lot of creative freedom, and it's kind of like really stifling. Those are the projects that I kind of wish I could just pass on to somebody else. And the ones where I'm able to like have fun, like the blue projection, that's like a project where I was just able to make whatever, like I was given the parameter that this room is blue and it's about different blue species, go, wherever you want to make. And that was cool because I was able to collaborate with a music composer, a designer, a graphic designer. We was able to make something really cool. And we didn't have no one like telling us like, no, you can't do this or you can't do that, or you can't put this in there. We just had the creative freedom. So I think it's projects like those are the ones that really excite me. It's the ones that are very controlled. I would do my best on it, but I wouldn't say I'm very excited about working on those.
Yeah.
So after of all of the projects you've worked on, I'm sure you have a favorite, but what would be your ultimate dream exhibit or project?
That is a good question, because I've been thinking about that. Like, so I've been like getting into projection mapping more over the years, and I've been getting larger and larger on scale with it. So at this point, I'm like really curious, like how big could I really go, and like what can I accomplish on a very, very large scale. So that's something I'm excited about, doing something like that's outdoors, maybe dealing with projection mapping, some kind of like public space. I've been thinking of like different ideas of how to tie that in with my documentary, like how to take the idea of the film and these missing women and do some kind of large projected installation that's outdoors, since it kind of ties in with the outdoor murals that Damon creates. So that's something that I'm noodling over right now. But yeah, it would be really cool to do an outdoor installation that involves projection mapping. That would be my dream project.
Have a little look at the episode before yours, episode 24 with Declan O'Mara, because he was exactly the right person to be talking to.
Also,
Absolutely.
And he's totally awesome as well. He's also goes by Dead Skull, and he's been in the comments as well throughout most of this. So we'll have to introduce you, because he's a helpful chap, and he works for Moment Factory now, who are also incredible at making big projections happen.
Yes, I'm inspired by Moment Factory. That's one of my favorite companies that I love looking at their work and just in awe. Like if I could work in Canada, I would work at Moment Factory. Honestly, I've looked at their job postings so many times and asked my husband, like, could we move to Canada? Like, I can to get a job there. But yeah, I'm definitely inspired by their work, and I would love to create something on. If to answer the question even better, I would love to create something on that level. Like that to me would be next level, like work.
It is so incredible what they do. It's totally. We will connect you though with Declan. That's for sure. So Latoya, we are on Unsung Heroes, and so my next question is, who is your unsung hero?
Actually, it's my brother. His name is Alexander Flowers. We are very close. He's 5 years older than me. One quick story is he named me when I was a baby after a girl he had a crush on. That's where my name comes from, after this girl that he liked in his preschool class. But yeah, my mom loves to tell that story. Hey, your brother named you. Don't forget it. But the reason why he's, I would say, an unsung hero to me, because he is working to be a pharmacist. He's a scientist. He is a brilliant person and has been through a lot of challenges in his field. Being Black in STEM is like very challenging here in America. And so in my career, he's always been really like that driving push. Like he's kind of like the person that, encouraged me to do this. When I was in high school, I wanted to work at a museum, but at the same time, I wasn't the best student in high school, and I was really struggling like on what I wanted to major in after graduating. And yeah, it wasn't obvious to me at first. And this was something that my brother always kept bringing up, like, why don't you get into media? You seem to be really interested in it. And I was like, really? Like, I always felt like I had to go to school to be like a doctor or a lawyer or something like him, and he was like the one that always encouraged me and was like doing research for me, helping me help me draft a resume, helping me with my portfolio. He helped me with all of my projects, like in undergrad, helping me brainstorm ideas. And so, yeah, if it wasn't for my brother, I don't know if I would be this far advanced in my career, because he's been a really strong support system. And we've been like that for each other. It's so funny that we're 5 years apart, but we always kind of overlap. Like I'm in college and he was in college. Like we were really helping each other throughout our careers and really leaning on each other. And so over time, our relationship just got even closer and closer and stronger. So yeah, we're like best friends. But yeah, he's doing amazing things. And he's created this program called Brainstemology, where he is working with teens and teaching them about STEM and hip hop and how these two totally different things actually go together. And so it's amazing. And he doesn't get a lot of like attention on what he's doing. So I definitely want to shout him out because he's creating this amazing program. And
is there a link to that program? Is there something that we can put up so that our audience can?
I think so. I think if you just Google brainstemology, there might be articles on him and like different like news segments. So
okay.
But yeah, that's Unsung Hero, my brother.
Alexander, thank you for being Latoya's Unsung Hero. And because you're an Unsung Hero, you're already part of our family. So welcome to the family. Hey, we're in our quick fun questions segment.
No, we're not. I have a little question for you, Cynthia. Can you explain the sentence, "I'm sorry for killing you, but you're already dead"?
I'm sorry for killing you, but you're already dead?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Sarah?
Recording it.
Oh my God, I'm gonna crap! Here it goes.
Here we
sorry
go.
for killing you, but you're already dead.
He's dead, no worry.
Oh, it came from you. That's hilarious.
Sarah and I colluded over Cynthia's Instagram for that.
So the story behind that is because I could never eat shrimp or crab because it was what is it, shark bait? The movie with the vegetarian shark and his gangster dad, and they're at the restaurant and there's this plate of shrimp and the dad says, "Eat the shrimp," and the son is there and he's seeing the shrimp, and they've got these beautiful little tentacle little antenna things, and the guy says, please don't kill me, I have a family. And so I kept on thinking of that, so I started eating more fish and seafood, and yeah, yes, thank you so much. Videos I post may be used to embarrass me on air. Thank you. Yeah, but then that was in Ushuaia in Argentina, and it was this incredible experience. Where I went to this restaurant and cooked with the chef in his restaurant, and we cooked king crab, and it was so amazing. It was so amazing. It was such a wonderful experience, and yeah, I killed a crab, but it was already dead. Okay.
That's a great video, though. That's so cool.
It made me so happy the second I saw it. I knew exactly what I was going to do with it. Thank you, Sarah, for sorting that out. now we can do that.
Oh goodness! Now we can do the fun questions. Oh, Sarah,
that's why I don't post on social media.
I'm going to continue posting on social media because I do not care whether people embarrass me. Like yesterday, I was actually, I can't remember why I wanted to talk about this, but yesterday it was the Jueves de Comadres. It's a special celebration before Carnival where women get together.
So I can write it, speak it in English.
The Jueves de Comadres. It's the Women's Thursday, and they get together and they tell stories and they sing and play music, and it's just it's one of the celebrations that is before Carnival in this part of Argentina and in Bolivia, in this region. I'm right next to Bolivia. It's in northwest Argentina. And last night I was at a Jueves de Comadres, and there was a lady that was reading poetry, and I was like, oh my gosh, I could read my favorite poem, but it's in French. So I went on the internet and I tried to figure out whether someone had already translated the poem into Spanish. And so I found it and I went on stage and I read it with my horrible accent in Spanish. I read my poem in Spanish on stage, and the place that we were at posted it on their Facebook page, and I just shared it this morning. I feel totally ridiculous. Plus, I'm speaking Spanish with this horrible accent, and anyway, it's embarrassing. But
Shall I go and visit and be like, oh, it's the Juvie de Comadres?
It's the Juvie de Comadres.
Anyway.
The Juvie de Comadres. Anyway, yes, fun questions. We are back on track. Oh my goodness, I got sidetracked so many times today. Fun questions, Latoya. Something that is extremely important for me right now. What is your favorite sandwich? I'm hungry. I'm sorry. I'm hungry.
Oh, so Panera Bread here in Chicago has this really good avocado chicken sandwich. It's like avocado, and it's like this kind of like melted, like I don't know what kind of cheese it is, and then there's chicken, and then there's like tomato and lettuce and onion, and then there's like some kind of cheese that they lay on top of the bread, like they melt it. It is so good, and some kind of like chipotle sauce. Yeah, that's my favorite sandwich. I get it every time I'm like having a craving for it. I'll go and stop what I'm doing and go get it.
That actually sounds really good.
I just wish I could remember what kind of cheese it is. I can't remember what kind of cheese. It's I think maybe Gouda, probably, but it's good.
It's always good in a sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially when it's melted.
Yeah,
I'm really surprised. Like in Argentina, they do a lot of sandwiches, and I'm just really, I didn't know anything about the food here other than them having really, really good meat and barbecue sauces. Well, not sauces, marinades, and good wine. But they actually really have really good sandwiches, and I'm always curious to like, oh, I could let's see what that one is, and I'll just like think of it. It's yummy. I like sandwiches. What is one thing that you own that you really should throw out?
old underwear. You know, the holy kind, the one that kind of has holes in it, or like the thread is loose.
That's full circle. We have now come full circle.
You wear them anyway on laundry day because you have nothing else. So that's why you hold on to them. Because they're your last resort. That's what you put on when you are like down to nothing.
I will even I'll admit to it as well, because I've got a couple of pairs that I just will not wear unless like absolute like the world's gone to shit, because I'm kind of ashamed to admit, but I'm going to do it to the internet. I have about 40 to 50 pairs of pants that I continually, because I like different colours and styles, pick me up. And I want them. I have to have them. I don't wear half of them, but I've still got the tatty old ones there, still in the back of the cupboard, just in case. That's one of my pairs. Can't believe it. Yeah. So that every time this comes up, Kelly or Sarah, whichever one of you that was, shame on you. because every time I have to explain it. So it's always Kelly. So we were doing I think our first or second show, and Patrick, one of our executive producers, said, I have to see the pants. I was talking about my rainbow pants that almost got me in trouble in Bahrain airport because they're not so fair on the pride colours. And I was talking about my rainbow pants. And he's like, I have to see them. I'm like, that's a bit of a weird thing to say. And it was one of those British American lost in translation things. I was like, I don't care. I'll show you my pants if you want. And he thought I meant trousers because that's the actual name for what he meant. and now that picture exists and keeps coming up.
But we love that picture. That and Calm Down, Cinnamon Wind.
You are so lucky at the moment I'm not at home because you know what I'd grab off of the mirror.
Yes, Zimford's like the disco. Oh my God.
I don't even know what these mean anymore.
These are like things from our old shows that just come popping up. Kelly just likes to just throw them in. We don't remember half of them. But it's still hilarious. All right, more. Your favorite smell?
Pollution, like gasoline.
That's your favorite smell?
Yes, the smell of a garage, an old oily garage. Yes, I love sitting behind a truck or a bus in the gas station. I love hanging out at the gas station. Yes.
I am like,
yes, those are my favorite.
That is incredible.
Can I ask for an explain? Just this is again one of those things. I'm the other side of the pond. So there's 3 states of matter, right?
Right.
And we've got solids, we've got liquids, and we've got gases.
Right.
What the hell? Why do you call a liquid gas? It's confusing, and it took me ages as a child to figure out that it's an abbreviation of gasoline. But think of what you're doing to the poor children. Won't somebody please think of the children?
That's hilarious. Yeah, we do.
I know
true.
It's petrol.
It is true.
We call it petrol, which is short for petroleum, which is short for petroleum distillate, which is what it actually is.
Yeah, no, we call it gasoline.
But then you get gas.
Oh my goodness. All right, all right, Kelly, I have no idea what Kelly's talking about in the chat. Concentration. We are concentrating. Your least favorite smell?
Least favorite, like farts. Yes, like the kind that smell like eggs. Oh my gosh. Because it can, like those silent farts can like travel throughout a different room, and then when you approach it, you're like, what the? Those are the ones, the silent farts, because those are the ones that smell like rotten eggs all the time.
Yeah, the silent and deadly ones, absolutely.
Yeah.
Walk into it and you're like, oh my God, it smells like something's crawled up your ass and died. What's wrong with you?
Yes, I hate it.
So we are building a Unsung Heroes playlist, musical playlist. What would be your contribution to it?
Like
a favorite song, your favorite song, one that everyone needs to know, that you could listen to over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Oh my gosh, that's a hard question. I might need a little time to think about that one. That's a hard
Answers on a postcard.
I have to look at my playlist and figure that one out.
First one that comes to mind.
Okay, fine. I love Bruno Mars and 24K. Magic was one of the songs that I played
That's a bop.
all the time when I was celebrating something, when I felt like dancing, when I needed to be in the
Awesome.
mood. That was the song that I would put on. So, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, it's on it.
I'm putting my pinky finger to the moon. What you trying to do?
Right. Exactly.
All right, Chris, your turn. You're up. You're up for the fun questions.
That was a big anticlimax, wasn't it? If you had to ride into battle on an animal, mythical or real, what would it be? Like, think Avengers Endgame level battle.
Mhm.
Like, what are you on?
What am I on? You know what's cool is like a horse, the horse that has wings. What kind of horse is that?
A cheeky Pegasus.
Yes.
It's a Pegasus horse.
Yeah. I like those. Yeah. I seen that in what was that? Thor Ragnarok something.
Yeah, Ragnarok, and then the Valkyrie had them at
Yeah,
Endgame
that
as
was
well.
cool. That was cool. That was a cool scene.
Now we've got a cheeky Pegasus popping up all the time.
Oh my god!
And I won't remember
right.
that reference either. Anyway, next one. Because this is Unsung Heroes, if you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
I wish I could read people's minds so I can know what they're really thinking of me in the moment. Yeah. I wish I was a mind reader.
Hang around me, I don't have a filter. It just comes straight out my mouth.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, some people don't even have a filter, so it's one thing that I love about Chris.
Kelly's making a point. You should be able to turn it on and off. So when you really don't
Exactly.
want to hear other people's thoughts, like,
Yeah, because I would get annoyed. I'm like, oh, everybody shut up. But I think in like tense situations, I wish I could read people's minds, like in a conflict, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
And then finally, our final question for everyone. If you had to wear a hat for the rest of your life, would you rather wear a big hat or a little hat? Magic. These are the hats. You have to choose one.
I would have to choose a small one. The big one would get
It's that one.
I would get sick of the big one after a while.
Yes. Thank you, Latoya. Thank you.
My one is more practical. Like you can move it around.
Exactly.
It's like a cheeky fascinator.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be a cheeky Pegasus and a cheeky fascinator.
Yeah, it's
What
an
about a cheeky
accessory.
Pegasus wearing a cheeky fascinator?
That would be cute. That would be really cute. If we had like
Oh my
matching fascinators.
This is all hypothetical madness, exactly. Wow, we are at the end of this great show. Latoya, thank you so much for being a wonderful guest. You were inspiring, giving us chills, and it was awesome to have you on this show. And we are so lucky that you are on our Unsung Hero this week. Thank you so much.
Where can we find you?
Latoya Charisse Flowers.com. That's my website.
Cool.
And I'm on LinkedIn also and Instagram at Latoya C Flowers. You can also follow the documentary page on Instagram at Still Searching Documentary. But yeah, I'm all over. I'm all over social, so not hard to find at all.
All right, cool beans. Well, thank you so much once again to our wonderful audience, our faithful, loyal audience. Please don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, and slightly fondle, slightly press, do whatever you want with the buttons. We love the buttons. Chris, thank you for being my partner in crime. I love having you, sharing this time with you. And yes, if you know an unsung hero, please let us know. We love exactly what's said. We love shining the spotlight on other awesome folks. So please send us, even if it's you that thinks that you're an unsung hero, we would love to hear from you. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Don't forget to make the world a better place. Go hug a hero. Mwah.